Yeah, and you should be happy as fuck.
What's up, my hippies? It's me, Emily, and today we're talking about numerology. Have you ever seen a pattern of numbers consecutively and it feels like that pattern of numbers is just following you and following you? Well, that's part of the belief of numerology. Numerology is the belief that numbers and your spiritual path coincide together and that they are messages from divine spirits or angels telling you what you need to do with your life in order to achieve your goal. I think the most common number that people see on a consecutive basis is the number 1111. Now, I remember back when I was in high school, this was a huge thing. All the kids were talking about 1111, and at 1111 you have to make a wish. Well, there may be something behind that. It may be due to numerology. Now, I don't think that by wishing at 1111 it does anything particular for you, but seeing 1111, especially if you see it more than once and it feels like it's just following you, that's something to be very mindful of in your life. So a couple months ago, I was noticing the pattern 808, just like the drum. 808, 808. And I decided to look it up to see what it meant and to see how it would benefit my life if it did have any kind of meaning behind it. So I looked up what 808 means, and it means you need to check on your financial stability. So if you're a person who is struggling with financial stability, then you need to get your finances in order, or else that struggle is going to be repetitive. If you are someone who is doing great at managing your finances, then continue doing what you're doing, and it will be a repetitive occurrence in your life that you are good at financing. The reason this is believed to have a repetitiveness throughout your life is because of the number 8. Now, it may not look like much, but the number 8, but when you flip an 8 on its side, it does become an infinity sign. So the number 8 in itself represents repetitiveness, kind of like infinity. So during that time, I had been going through a little bit of financial struggles, and I found it very, very odd that the sequence 808 was relating to finances. The good thing about it is that it did make me more aware of my financial situation so that I could change some of the behaviors I was doing and to get myself back into a good financial standing. I would say about a year ago, I went through a repetitiveness with the number 1111, and that's never happened before. You know, back in high school, I used to see it once or twice and be like,
oh my god, it's time to make a wish.
But this was like happening multiple times a day, multiple times a week, over and over and over. It seemed like no matter what I looked at, I saw the number sequence 1111, and it kind of freaked me out. And that's how I kind of got into this study of numerology and what it really means corresponding to our lives. So recently, I mean like recently as in the past couple weeks, there's been a few sequences of numbers that have been following me. I'm back to seeing 1111, or just the number 11. I'm seeing 1212. I'm seeing 1112. I'm seeing 1122. And I'm seeing 1221. So I'm seeing a lot of 1s and 12s. So I decided that I was going to take some time and look up what each of these means individually and see if I can find out if it does correlate to my life. And I wanted to look them up kind of together and go through them together so that if anyone else is seeing 1 or 2 in their life, that maybe it could help them out as well. So let's start with the number 1. Upon my research, I have found that the number 1 means you are empowered to manifest your dreams at this time. So that means that you have decided you're going to set a goal for yourself, and that now is the time that you are ready to get started. It means you are in a creative and powerful moment in your life, and it's the perfect time to start working on what you really desire in life. Seeing the number 1 can also be a sign from the universe that it is time for a new beginning. It's a sign from the universe that whatever it is that is calling you, now is the time to get started on that. Let's move on to the number 2. The number 2 symbolizes harmony and balance. It also is the universe telling you that you need to believe and have faith in what it's trying to tell you. So if you have any doubts in your mind about your goals or about where your beliefs lie, the number 2 is a sign that you just need to trust, that you need to put all of your trust into what's happening in your life, that it's happening for a greater purpose. It can also signify that you are headed on the right path as well. So when you see multiple ones in a row, so 111 or 1111, it's just a stronger form of the number 1. It's really the universe reaching out to you, urging you to get on your path, get started with your goals, and just go for it. Whatever you've been desiring for so long, that it is the right time to start doing what you really desire. They call it like a wake-up call. So you'll hear this a lot in numerology where it's your awakening. So you're becoming awakened to your desires and you're seeing these repetitive ones, and you're having this awakening that now is the time that you need to start focusing on yourself and your dreams and your desires and what it is you really, really want out of life. I'm going to go into some sequences, so like 1112 or 1212 or 1221. People who see 1112 are sincere and loyal. They are also very sensitive beings. They can also be compassionate and love very, very deeply. That describes me to a T. Like, I would say that I'm very, very compassionate, and I do love very, very deeply. When I love someone, I love them with everything that I have. It can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, let's be real, because I do fall in love kind of easily with personalities and with people. And I also am very sensitive, so there we go. If you see the pattern of 1112, it can also signify that something is ending in your life and it's allowing for a new chapter to begin. This would explain why I'm seeing this number quite often, because I had been talking to a boy for a little while, and I really thought that it was going somewhere, that we were going to form a connection and form a relationship, and that it was going to turn into something, and it just did not work out that way. We kind of had stopped talking, and it's a really long story. I don't want to get into it out of here. I'm going to make a separate video under my adulting videos and kind of explain that situation a little bit more in detail. But it's so interesting to me because, like, when I was seeing like the 1111s and the 1212s and everything like that, it was right around the time that I started talking to this guy. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is the path. I need to follow this path. And when it ended, I was seeing that 1112. I was seeing the 1112s a lot, like closer to the end of that. And that makes a lot of sense to me why I would see that, because it did end and maybe something greater is supposed to happen. Maybe me and him are not supposed to have a relationship. Maybe he's in my life for a different reason and I just don't know that reason yet. So that's really, really interesting to know. Also, maybe the path was not for me to get involved in a relationship. I think the path that I was supposed to follow was the path I've been following for the past couple months, which is this path of self-love and self-appreciation. And I've been on this journey for almost a year. It'll be a year, I think, in January or February. I forgot when I started going to therapy, but around that time. And I think that when I see that 1111, it's kind of like a cheerleader, like, yes, like you are doing this, like you are on the right path, keep going, keep going. And I see that 1111 now and I'm like, yes. So when I saw that 1111, when I started talking to this guy, you know, I thought it was a sign that, you know, I was on the right path. But I think the goal was for me to maintain my self-love while talking to this man and not letting what he says about me take away what I've been saying about myself for the past few months. Because the minute we stopped talking, I realized I had a bunch of negative thoughts. I was like, was it me? Was it something that I did? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not tall enough? Am I not skinny enough? Am I not enough for this person? You know, I did notice that those thoughts were occurring and I did stop them. I was like, you know what? No, like, this is not me. I am not the reason why this ended. Sorry. My cat is feeling very adventurous tonight, so we'll see what he does back there. But I had to tell myself that it was not me. So I think that the meaning of that 1111 in the beginning was just telling me like, continue your self-love, continue that. So I listened to it. I let it slip for a second, but I went right back into like that self-love mode and really just focusing on myself and just kind of wiping him out of my memory for now, you know? Like if we end up talking again, great. If not, great. I'm still gonna be here to love myself. Just a little explanation on how that relates to my personal life. I'm not trying to get into like dating and stuff like that in this video. But I think it's very ironic, right? Am I wrong? Okay. Seeing 1212. So seeing 1212, which is another number that I've been seeing, is kind of like a confidence booster. So it's there to tell you that others are not better than you and that you are worthy of everything that everyone else around you has, and you are enough. I think that's the ultimate meaning behind 1212. And I think it's there to remind you of your worth, that you have to realize you are worthy. That's so weird because I just got done talking about worth with the other one. So it's like, to me, all of these numbers that I had been noticing, and it wasn't just like I saw 11111 or I saw 11112 or 11121 or whatever it was. I had been seeing multiple, and not just on like the clock, but I work a lot with numbers at my job. I would see like the amount of 1111 or the time that something was printed at some random place was 1111, all over the place. So it's so weird that now that I'm researching it, how it makes sense to my situation that I just went through. All right, we're gonna quickly talk about 1221. So 1221 is meant to be pushing you towards your goals. It's there to remind you that all of the hard work that you've been putting in will pay off, and that you should not give up because you feel like you're putting in that hard work for nothing, which is so crazy because I had a moment a couple weeks ago where I felt like I literally could not take working anymore. I was like, I cannot take working. None of this work that I'm putting in is gonna amount to anything. And seeing this on paper, like seeing what that actually means when I was seeing this number, is absolutely insane. Like, I'm not making this up. This is actual numbers that I was seeing when I had these feelings in my personal life. And knowing that 1221 is a message of continuing that hard work and just keep pushing, like keep going, is so amazing to know that, because every single time I see the number 1221 in my life again, I will know that it's a sign that I need to keep going and that I cannot give up, that all the hard work that I'm putting in is going to mean something one day. I don't know, do you guys believe in numerology? Do I sound like I'm absolutely insane right now? I'm sure this has happened to other people out there. I guess it wouldn't really be as interesting unless you are a fan of numbers or a fan of spirituality, but it's just crazy to think about how when we look at these numbers every single day, we might not think anything of it, but they could be messages from higher spirits telling us important stuff that we need to know in order to live our lives. I guess one could take the numbers and do their research and find out what they mean and live their lives that way, or they could look at the numbers, maybe understand what they mean, maybe not, and then just figure it out on their own and not really take the numbers with anything more than a grain of salt. So either way, if you want to take the numbers and research them and live your life by them and really trust that these numbers mean something, that's awesome. If you want to take the numbers and maybe not think anything of it or not do anything with that information and just figure out your life in your own way, that's fine too. But I think it's really cool that the option is out there to understand that these numbers correlate to your life. It's kind of like tarot cards or like getting your fortune told to you. Oh, you can believe in it, but you may not seek that for answers all the time, because sometimes you just want to figure it out on your own. I believe in it, but I'm not going to be using it for every little aspect of my life. And you'll know when you notice it. Like, it's not just you looking for numbers. It's just out of the blue, random numbers. And it's absolutely mind-blowing when you realize it and when you actually go through it. It's crazy. It really makes you feel like you are insane. One famous person that I can tell you that's had this happen to them and has been very public about it is Tana mojo. There was a period of time where she would see the numbers 1111 all the time. Like she literally would post about it on her Insta story and on her Snapchat and on YouTube. She would call it out every single time it happened. She was there to catch it on video or take a picture, and it happened quite often. And at that time, I didn't know about numerology. I was like, whatever, she's just posting every time she sees 1111, like why is it such a big deal, you know, because I don't think she really knew what it was either. I didn't think anything of it, and then once I found out about numerology and that it was the idea that numbers correlate to our lives, it makes so much sense why that would be a crazy thing to see. I had never gone through what she went through, and when I did, I was like, holy fucking shit. You're not looking for 1111. The 1111 is just following you everywhere. It's so crazy and bizarre. I've only known about numerology for, I would say, like the past year or so. So I'm still really new to it, and it's still a really new concept for my brain to kind of wrap around. So of course I still have like doubts sometimes, and I'm still a little bit skeptical, but going through like what I just went through with that boy and like the emotions that I was feeling and the correlation between that and the numbers I was seeing, and then like researching it and talking about it with you guys and comparing the two situations together, it brings it into perspective that these two things could really be connected in some way. Making this video, I was not expecting to believe in it any more than I did, but now that I've like done the research and like talked about it, like it really freaks me out, but it's really awesome at the same time, so I ain't mad. Like I'm fine with that, you know, whatever. Sorry, my cats are really distracting me.
Distracting me, you are. Yoda, Master Jedi.
Anywho, whenever I wear this, I feel like Queen Amidala from Star Wars, because she always wears like those really big shawls, or I feel like a Jedi Master. Anywho, I don't know why I do things. Do you guys like my alien shirt though? Check this out, guys. I'm gonna link the Etsy shop down below for this beautiful item. I got it off Etsy. I found a whole Etsy shop that just fits my personality. Like, this is literally me. I literally am a hippie alien who's obsessed with space. Like, that's me. Hello. I come in peace. Okay, we're getting off topic. Anywho, I hope you guys at least learned something from this video. I hope it was interesting to you. Let me know down below if you have heard of numerology or if you believe in it. If you do know about it, I'm curious to know how many people out there believe in numerology or even know about numerology. I want to know. Tell me, please. If you did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every Friday. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!